Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of the Locker Room Life podcast. Episode number 9. I'm one of your hosts, Frank. I'm here with my boy, Logan. We're here talking about life, talking about everything going on in life, the hockey world. Another great interview for you. But first and foremost, let's talk about life, Logan. What is going on in your life, my friend?
Man, oh man. Thanks for asking, Frank. I've been running around like a chicken with its head cut off for the past week and a half. Ever since I got back from vacation, I've just been playing catch up. Not necessarily catch up, but just been very, 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 very busy getting some big things on the rise for the company right now. Heading out to Palm Springs in 2 weeks and then have the equipment manager conference, which I'm really excited to, when we come back from that, talk about that. It's just where we go and get to see all these NHL, college, AHL equipment managers and talk to them and get face-to-face time with them, which is really the biggest thing for this company. And it's the biggest intangible asset to what I do, is the relationships that I have and create. It's interesting. A lot of stuff going on. And yeah, it's fun though. I absolutely love it. We actually just rolled out, I know, Buddy Hockey Club, shout out Buddy Hockey Club, one of the best sponsors in the world. They're rolling out a new merchandise. Sorry, subtle plug there, but they're rolling out some new merch, new line here soon. And BDT as well. We just came out with our double wide clear tape. We just got our grip tape in. So things are trending. We're very excited to see what this summer has to offer.
Before I get into me and what's going on in the land of the melting sun, I want to talk about, you went on a little vacay, my friend. A little revamping of the wheels. A
little touch up a little bit. It was nice, man. I probably should have unplugged a little more than I did looking back at it, but that's just because I'm a nutcase. But it was good though. I went to Mexico with my beautiful girlfriend. It was a great time. Spent a week at an all-inclusive, just sat in, doesn't really look like I sat in the sun very much, but I sat in the sun and it was great. Just had some drinks on the beach, had some food on the beach, by the pool, but now I'm back to real life, back to the grind. Thanks for asking, Frank. I appreciate that.
No, you need that, man. Life is about balance. We talk about it all the time. Work-life balance. Like, we all do a pretty good job of that, but just want to give everybody an update of what's going on in Arizona. Red alert, triple digits have arrived and coming with a vengeance.
50 here today.
It was nice. It was like, you know what, 95. Ooh, it's a nice day outside. Then 105 feels like 115. But anyways, like I say it all the time, summer in Arizona is inevitable, right? What a lot of people are learning to live with mentally is the fact that there's only 3 to 4 months of this intense heat. And then aside from that, it's beautiful here. And I truly do believe that. But gotta say, played a little tournament this weekend with my boys, the Zambonis. Little Memorial Day puck with my boys. I'm not going to get too far into it because of the fact that we didn't win. Because if we did win, I'd go deeper into it. But I'm just going to keep the highlights for you. We lost in the finals. But you know what? At this stage, Logan, we talk about it all the time. It's about being with the boys. It's about just having fun. We had so much fun just chilling at the pool, having a couple beverages, just being with the friends, family. And I told you, this group has a really special piece of my heart for a lot of years. I've been with them for a while, and these friends have been part of my life forever. And just the fact that we look back at these amazing connections that the hockey community has given us. We were in these guys' weddings. We were part of their kids' births. We were there. And to see these kids now like growing up. And quick story on the Zambonis, which is amazing. Shout out to my boy Dar Azadi. He's one of the captains of the team. His son Louis, who plays at Weber State, we've talked about him before, and his nephew Ty, who plays in Amarillo in the NAHL, just played there this year. They all played together on a line, along with Ty's father, who is Dar's brother, Nader. So just being able to see fathers play with their sons, play with their nephews, it's a really cool thing, man. Being able to be a father one day and have a son, and just to be out there playing with your son or your nephew, it's a really cool thing. So it was a really cool thing to see. But anyways, not going to go into the details of how BS it was, but it was. I'm not going to talk about it, but it was. The team that won shouldn't have been in the division. I'm not going to talk about it. But
you're talking about it. You are talking about it. You are talking about it.
I subtly talked about it. But anyways, boys, I love you. Fun weekend. I lost my voice, We were supposed to record, but I was an absolute plug out there and I lost my voice. Amateur hour.
You did.
Aside from that, though, I did want to give my friend, Chef Jason Hua, a shout out. We headed to his restaurant in Scottsdale. He is the curator of the menus, the Global Ambassador Hotel in Scottsdale, one of the best restaurants and resorts in the world right now.
It makes me hungry.
He again came out, hooked us up. We went to the Mediterranean spot, Thea, which lives in that hotel. He is the most humble person in the world. He's achieved so much, and I'm so proud of him. If you're listening, buddy, thank you so much. And he's always bringing in these amazing dishes that we need to taste, which is just makes the experience unreal. But fun weekend, friends, family. But that's the way Memorial's supposed to be, right, buddy?
Yeah, so cool. Celebrate it, enjoy it. Have a lot to thank. Actually, on topic, I have a lot to thank our veterans for. Thank you for all the people who sacrificed their lives for us to be able to enjoy that 3-day weekend with our families and the people we love. But yeah, on the note of stick taps and celebrating, we got some big news today dropped on us. Frank just dropped it on me before we kicked off. Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8 is putting him up. It's crazy. It really is. It's interesting. I wonder how long Sydney's going to go for now too. Because like when you think about it, my youth, my growing up, it was literally those two. It was those two. They were the face of the NHL. They were the two superstars, the younger guys who were kicking ass. And now that they're here, it's very surreal for me to see that. But we've talked about him a lot on this podcast so far because he's had such an awesome year. But amazing career, Hall of Famer, first ballot, no question, unbelievable guy, unbelievable player.
Yeah, the record is only one piece of the whole pie with Ovechkin. I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said already? We talked about it a little bit as well in previous episodes, but what a teammate, what a guy. And he embodied the fun of hockey and being a professional and being able to still be an amazing player. And we talked about it when we first initially discussed it. There was a lot of people that said, that'll never happen just because he was him. And his swagger, the way he carried himself, the way that the game and traditionally hockey is usually played, he flipped that on its side from the tinted visors to the red laces to the sty to everything. And he just had fun, man. And I can't say it enough. It's a changing of the guard on so many different levels to show that hockey can be fun. You can still have fun doing it and be a great player. And again, what can we say that hasn't been said already? Ovi, one of a kind. Records are made to be broken, but I can tell you this: there will never be another Alexander Ovechkin.
Nope.
And stick taps to him. Wish you the best, my friend.
That's really amazing. I mean, it's hockey in general, and who are absolutely amazing guests and awesome stuff happening in the PWHL the past week. The Frost back to back, nasty. Not gonna lie. It's pretty amazing. Shout out John Chavo, part of the Frost, 2 years back to back, another not a big deal moment. Super cool. And the whole landscape there, and just absolutely another thing for stick taps to them and growing the game, because it really is. And we talked about it.
Yeah, we have a great interview. Annelies Bergmann, what can you say about her college career thus far? I mean, just finished her sophomore season, ECAC Goalie of the Year at Cornell. But more importantly, she dives into her amazing journey. I don't like to say prodigy very much, but that in this case, it's much well deserved. She's an amazing person, but at the end of the day, the appreciation for the hockey journey, the grind, everything that it takes. But on top of that, and it is just the fact of the matter in this, she was a woman playing with boys growing up her whole career, and she played at the highest level. So I cannot stress how amazing she is, how amazing the story is, and just her determination to continually shock the world. Because as you guys hear in the interview, people that are going to be amazing people, and hockey, and we talk about it all the time, is a small piece of who we are as people. Annelies is an amazing person that is going to be successful in anything that she does in life. So I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I love it. Logan, what do you got?
Oh my goodness. I mean, This is what Frank said. I mean, ECAC Goalie of the Year is just not a big deal on top of that. But I mean, just to add to accolades is more than just, you'll see how just the head on the shoulders that she has is absolutely amazing. But to be the first woman to ever play junior hockey and men's junior hockey in North America, it's pretty crazy. She played for the Janesville Jets. She's played for Team USA. She was the ECAC Rookie of the Year. Just unbelievable. Just absolutely crazy. And it's a great podcast. It's a great listen. It shines through when you see her. This the grit. You could tell that she was put in those situations with so many guys. Like we're ball busters. Every hockey player is, and you could tell that she's been in this situation, and she just has that determination and just that edge and chip on her shoulder. Even though she is a prodigy, she still has that grind and that want. So it shines through in the interview, and it's going to be a good one.
I really think also, just a quick note before we get into it, she shone some light into the state of the women's game, but also some much needed improvement to make sure that hockey is for everyone. And she brings up a lot of different points in regard to some things that she'd like to see, just to show what hockey's hockey. Hockey is a physical sport. She touches a little bit on the physicality side of maybe seeing that a little bit more going forward. But again, as we know at Logan, we both played, physicality in hockey is inevitable. And I feel like whether it's men's or women's, it's going to happen, and it's just inertia, right? Like it happens, two forces coming together, and that there's a really big stigma out there on women's hockey, and it's not men's hockey and this and that. I don't want to hear that. Hockey is for everyone. Anybody playing hockey and anybody going through a hockey journey, we all go through the same things, the same pitfalls, the same obstacles, the same adversity, the same challenges. And more importantly, hockey is what made us the amazing people that we are today, because we're amazing people, Logan. What do you think, dude? Pretty good guys, right?
We do some things pretty good. Some things we could always work on, where it's a human nature. And yeah, you hit all the nails on the head there. I'm pumped up for you guys to hear this, guys. It's an absolutely amazing one, and our first female athlete. So we're absolutely honored to be able to have her on, and she's a star. So it's super cool.
Without further ado, couldn't be done without our wonderful sponsors, Buddy Hockey Club, Best Damn Tape, Cut Shield Hockey, Annelies Bergmann. Hope you guys enjoy.
Welcome back to another episode of the Locker Room Life Podcast. Here's my good friends, Frank and Jay. I'm another good friend of mine, Annelies Bergmann. She's an athlete of the brand. I'm an outstanding goalie. She is the goalie for Cornell Big Red in the Ivy League ECAC, and also the first woman to ever play in the North American Hockey League, which is pretty crazy, pretty awesome. I used to shoot on Annelies when I was a young kid, when I played for Bell Tire, and she was on the 05 team. She was always kicking the ass of all the other boys that were part of the team. So it's such a pleasure to have you on, Annelies.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Logan throwing muffins at you, it's just, you're like, I'm way better than this. Yeah.
He snuck a couple by.
No, it's so awesome to have you on. We'll go through a lot, but just the playing career, just an overview of where it all started and then all the steps in between.
Yeah, so I started playing hockey in Buffalo, and I started when I was 2, just skating with my brothers. I wanted to be just like them, and so that's why I got into it. I played boys because there wasn't a huge girls hockey presence in Buffalo at the time, and I just stuck with it because we didn't really see a reason to switch, and then ended up moving to Cleveland, but playing for Penn's Elite there, and then eventually moving up to Detroit with Bell Tire. That's where my career really kicked off. And so just super fun playing with Bell Tire, and then the Oakland Junior Grizzlies. Eventually got the opportunity to play here at Cornell. So it's been a wild ride, but a fun one.
In terms of the whole, with the NAHL, how did that come about in regards to the recruiting side of it? What are the decisions, like other options to play after Bell Tire were you pondering?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to eventually play women's college hockey. It was just a route to get there. And obviously my goal was to play in a league that no female had. And I was getting some attention from the NAHL, the USHL, those things, but nothing like definitive. And then, eventually the coach reached out from Janesville and my agent with CAA helped me out with that and just talking back and forth with them. And then I eventually got called up for the game, which was just an unreal experience. And so just to be able to play in that game and then just learn a ton from that and take it into college is really what helped me.
Yeah. I mean, I remember my draft year and then going into your guys' draft year with all the guys. Frank, she played with Christian Kim on that team that year. And I just remember just like the big buzz was like, Annelies could actually get drafted in the USHL. Like it was a genuine thing that everyone was talking about. And it's just so cool. And when did you throw on the USA jersey as well? I wanted to ask about that. When was that?
That was the first time in 2022, maybe. It was the U18 Worlds in Madison, Wisconsin.
Unreal. That's so awesome.
That was fun.
So Jay and I were actually talking before we went on air. He had a question about inspiration. Like, Jay, maybe you can take that one.
I mean, I just immediately thought of Manon Rheaume from Tampa Bay. I was like, insane goalie that made it to the NHL. Like, it's great. I mean, I'm a little older than you, so I don't know if she would be like an inspiration for you, but do you know about that story?
Yeah, I'd obviously heard about her before, and it just an incredible woman goalie, obviously. Growing up, it was never so much like of the forefront of the focus. It was more so I just liked playing with the guys, so that's what I did. And it was more so just fun. I'm not really with that goal in mind. But yeah, I got the opportunity to meet her in Los Angeles at the agency camp. Yeah, super nice.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome. Go on, Frank.
So through the recruiting process, I mean, Cornell, one of the most prestigious Ivy League schools in the country, like I'm sure you had offers from everybody. What narrowed you down on Cornell and going there? Because I'm sure you had literally every school.
Not that many, but no, I was looking at a couple schools, and what set Cornell apart is really the academic side and the athletic. I feel like it just pursues excellence in both. Obviously, the coaching staff here is just so supportive, and it really was what I was looking for. I committed really young, so the influence of my dad went here for grad school, so he knew his way around here a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, really just the culture I just think is so different from other schools. The fans at Lina, just a culmination of all of it.
It's got to be just a crazy experience. And how old were you when you committed?
I was in 7th grade.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Because I knew you were committed I knew you were committed when I would shoot against you during those practices and stuff, but I didn't know it was that early.
Yeah. My commitment post, actually, I'm wearing a Cornell sweatshirt in a Panera because I was like 12 years old. It was so bad.
So that was like, I'd love for you to talk about that because that was before the rule, like the rule that came in that you couldn't recruit until you were 15 or 14 or 15, something like that. So how did that happen? I mean, that's crazy.
That's unreal.
There was obviously a conversation about, because we knew that was the year that the rule changed. So we knew that there was eventually going to be a rule change. And it was honestly whether or not I commit before or after. Wait till it's like your summer of sophomore year.
Yeah, that's what.
And so I honestly just like one thing. And so it was more so if I'm just going to commit to Cornell after that rule change, why not just do it now? And so after having multiple conversations with them, keep it on the down low at first. Maybe you're in 7th grade. It sounds a little crazy to be committing to college already, but yeah.
It's crazy that you would have had to wait 5 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they didn't push it back 2 years. It wasn't like, oh, you're a freshman, let's give you a little more time in high school to figure it out. It was like, wait.
Yeah. I was waiting for the team to come in with the players that I would play with to watch, because at that point, all the girls would have been graduated. So it was funny.
Wow.
I mean,
unreal.
That's unreal. The things that I was choosing to do in the 7th grade, seeing if I was going to show up to PE class. I mean, one of the best.
You were definitely playing a lot of hockey then, but I mean, I can't even imagine having to make that kind of a decision.
Annelies, were you on Penn's Elite at that time when you had committed?
No, I was on. It was my first year at Bell Tire.
First year at Bell Tire.
When I committed.
Wow. Oh wow.
So you classify as an elite athlete talking about just preparation of everything, right? Like those work ethic habits are built into you very young. What is your thought on the whole process? Are you very process driven? Are you walk us through your whole mindset as you're building and growing as a player?
Yeah, I feel like the work that you put in is what you get out of it. And that's something that I've learned a lot this year too, is just the extra stuff that you do, like the detail oriented. It helps tremendously in your game. And so from a young age, on Sundays, I would go to like skate for an hour and then take shots for an hour. But the main focus was on the skating and the details, and that just building that up each year, consistently working on those habits, and is really what gives you confidence in order to play well. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little superstitious. So just having my rituals and things like that, it just allows you to play confident in your game.
Okay, now you open a can of worms.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about rituals, and funny where we're at now with them. When Frank and I talk about them versus Logan, we are 20 years older than Logan. So it's funny to talk about like with Logan just coming out of maybe practicing his rituals and pregame and all that stuff, and where like Frank and I are letting go of them, but then getting them back as we get older, which is really funny too, because we're both still playing too.
I was an absolute nutcase with mine. I mean, always left skate, always left gear first, always left leg through first. I was always doing that. And you got to tell us some of the superstitions. I mean, it's just got to happen.
Yeah. I have some crazy ones. Like this year, I would have to eat a croissant before every game. Like no matter what, we're on the road. I had to have a croissant.
That's
Last
good.
year,
Fluffy carbs. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
You're fueling. Last year, it was Lucky Charms the morning of, because like luck. But then actually we got a lucky goal to win in QPAC in the playoffs. So it worked. And then this was a crazy one. But last year, I guess it's mostly food, but I would eat before we played Clarkson, and we upset them. We weren't supposed to win. We ended up winning 3-0. And I had a McFlurry and fries the night before. So I kept that going for a couple games.
This is Frank and Logan's wheelhouse 100%. The McFlurry, Logan, the Lucky Charms, Fred.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
But gear wise, obviously, like right before left, always. I play soccer before, juggle, a little hand-eye, but yeah, those are the fun things.
That's awesome. And I mean, breaking into that too, we can ask about your youth, but just your years at Cornell right now, like what has been the coolest moment that you've been a part of just in the past couple seasons with them?
Yeah, I would say that this year during the playoffs, we broke the largest attendance record at a women's game here.
Holy.
And so just to have Lina like just packed, there was a joke because they would always put like pack Lina signs all around campus, and they did. But the football team came out and they were behind my net and they had signs like Annelies Bergmann and stuff like that. So that was probably the coolest moment. But
yeah. That's super cool. And I mean, like you were saying before, such a prestigious school on the Ivy level, academic level. And I mean, who's been, I mean, with USA, all of that, who's been one person if it was a goalie partner, if it's a person you were playing with, who's been one person that's stuck with you, and is just like your best friend, even if they're not on your team right now, someone that's been with you through it all?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Gracie Dwyer here at Cornell. There's a story from earlier in the year when we played Princeton. We went down 3-0, and we were going into the third. Obviously, not my best game. She was just like, we got your back. Like, no matter what happens, like, we got your back. And we ended up winning 4-3. So I contribute that win to her, just giving me the confidence a little bit that I needed. But honestly, I've band playing years with her at USA, every U18 level and then the collegiate level. Her and her honestly entire family. We have a group chat now. So and she's just like another sister, and she's really just stuck by my side through it all.
We talk a lot about the hockey journey on this podcast. There's so many things that unite us all as players. There's a lot of consistencies along the journey, but the focal point of that is family, right? A little bit about your family and the support system that you had growing up and developing as a player, because I mean, it's all part of us.
Yeah.
How was yours?
My family's been huge in the support. When we lived in Cleveland, me and my mom lived up in Detroit 3 days a week at an apartment, driving back and forth. My mom drove an hour and a half each way to Pittsburgh when we lived there. So the sacrifice has just been tremendous, especially for my brothers. Obviously, never complaining when my mom would be away with me, or they wouldn't be getting the attention that I might have been getting, which I hear a little bit about now from them. But yeah, just the sacrifice, honestly, that my brothers made in order to allow me to play at such a high level. And honestly, like my brother was a star goalie too. He played for the German national lacrosse team, which is random.
Oh, wow.
They had some of their own successes. So it's a fun family to be part of.
I always remember seeing your mom just always with you when you were going to practice, doing all those things. So I knew that was going to be the answer for that. And it's the same thing here. Like I was living with Schmaza at that time. Like I was literally living in his basement. And I know Annelies could probably tell you some funny stories about that guy more than I've already told you too. But it really is. It's so much sacrifice that on top of your parents literally putting their whole life on hold to make sure you're going to be successful and be at that next level is just, it really is beautiful. And that's the special thing about hockey. We're biased and we always say that, but it really is just a special group of people, even down to the parents. And did your mom or dad play? And did any of them play hockey?
No, neither of them did. I mean, my brothers played, but it was a new thing when we moved to Buffalo.
Interesting. And that's just so cool just to see the sacrifice on the level of you were going to be that elite obviously they knew you were going to be that elite athlete from 7th grade, but it's just so cool to see. And my parents are the same way. And I know Frank and Jay, they completely attest and agree with that for sure.
Along this journey, I know that you signed with CAA. How early along the whole process? Was that in 7th grade when you had committed to a Division I college and all of us were worrying about what we were going to eat or do with our recess?
No, it wasn't that early. It was actually random because my Dwayne Norris actually at OJG invited me. They needed a goalie for a skate that they had in Plymouth at the US rink. And I was on the ice sometimes with Jack Hughes and them. It was a very elite group. Like it was crazy to be part of. And it was a CAA camp and they liked what they saw a little bit. And so then they invited me out to their agency camp in California and it was in 2 days. So I had to book flights and I was off to California for a week and that whole experience was just crazy. And they offered because they then expanded to the women's side, which was awesome to see, signing some athletes. And I was honestly honored enough to be a part of that first group. And so, yeah, they've just been a great support system whenever I have questions or anything with that. They super big help.
And if you didn't know who Dwayne Norris is, guys, Josh Norris is his son for the Sens. He's head coach at OJG forever. Runs all that.
A legend.
A legend. He's a great guy. And I have to ask, I mean, how long did you play for Schmaza?
2 years.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was.
Do you remember Artie?
Oh, so of course I remember Artie. So Artie, I'll say this real quick. Artie has a crazy story. He was like, you guys know about the limousine crash with the Red Wings a long time ago with Fedorov, all the guys in there.
Konstantinov.
Yeah, Konstantinov. Like that's his dad. And just crazy. So he was a part of literally that whole squad and the whole team was always in the locker room, always being there. And he was such an amazing guy. That group was awesome. That group was really special. And that 05 team that Annelies is a part of. I mean, where's your partner at? Where's Mikey playing? Mikey Medelty?
I don't think he might still be in juniors right now. He's doing well though.
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
And like obviously, I mentioned Christian Kim earlier. He's now committed. He just committed to Air Force. Matthew Mania, who just played in the OHL, drafted to the LA Kings. Like that team was unbelievable. They had commits who ended up playing at the highest level to UConn and Michigan Tech, all those places. It was
Kai
Jamboree. He's at UConn as well, right?
UConn,
He played at the national team. Like she's been a part of some crazy squads at that level. And who was on the OJG team? Who did you play with there? Because that was when I had left the whole Detroit scene and I went to play prep school.
Yeah, it was. I played with Jacob Terpstra. He ended up playing like juniors. Yep. My goalie partner, Aiden Gripe, he ended up playing somewhere in the NAHL. Like just a ton of Nate Murray. He's committed to Colorado College. Just a ton of players ended up playing juniors and committing. It was cool.
So, and I have to ask finally, like how, I know you said you enjoyed it, but like how was it? And I know she mentioned it earlier, but Annelies literally only played with all the boys teams growing up. Like she was kicking ass against every one of these guys, becoming the starting goalie. And it's just like, how was that experience? Because I know it has to be has to be different. Like, you're not getting dressed in the same locker room as everyone. Like, but you're still a part of the family. You're a part of like their culture that they had. So I'd love to hear you talk about that more.
Yeah, it was definitely fun at some points, but definitely hard at others. Just going through that age at 13, 14, when boys get a little ruthless. But with Bell Tire, it was just, I'll never forget some of the practices. It was like they'd go for my head or something. And it made me tougher in the end. So I'm not mad at them. But yeah, just like honestly, just like the pranks that they play on you, it's all lighthearted. But in the moment, sometimes it might get a little heated, but it was fun. It's way different, honestly, coming to college and playing with the girls. I had a tough freshman year with that culture transition a little bit, because obviously a guy's locker room is going to be a little different than girls, just that culture-wise. So
that's so interesting. It was tough. It was an adjustment to go from playing with all guys to playing with all girls.
Oh, majorly. Yeah, I figured it out eventually. But
yeah, I mean, of course, but that's just, I wouldn't even, I mean, something you don't even think about. We've always tried to, I don't know even how to say this here, but when we were like, we want to talk to hockey players, and it doesn't matter guy or girl, it's people that play hockey, and it's the sport that we love, and it doesn't matter who you are, because if you're good and if you're not, you love the game and you play, and that's what we like too. But it's the things I never really think about. I guess it would probably be an adjustment for me to go into a all girls locker room and start getting ready and just being like, what are we talking about today? And I never really think about it like that. And not that's like unfair, but it's definitely going to be not more of like not prominent, but more of a topic, especially with the PWHL and
of course
things that,
and even,
it's just going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger. And those are the stories that are going to be great. And it's like fun for people to think that way too.
This is where I like to give you so much kudos to, because I mean, in Detroit, there were options to go play on the girls teams. Like, they had girls teams for every single squad out there. Like Kirsten Sims, Layla Edwards, I forget where she played youth. Where did she play youth at, Layla Edwards?
She played at Selects Academy, I think, Manchester.
And it was just like all those teams had girl teams. So it's just a testament to the hard work, because it is like, it's not easy. Like, you're going in, you're getting shots from kids who are going first round in the OHL, committed to college already. That's a completely different game than what you are. And I know you could say it, but it probably definitely prepared you to move into just playing strictly girls hockey at that level.
Oh, definitely. I feel like it's hard to honestly come in and play right away, because it's such an adjustment with the game. And for me, it might honestly, going from playing such high level guys to girls, it's just a little different. Like the shots, the way they come off the stick, the speed, everything. And so freshman year was figuring that out. Just the level of play is still the same, and it just continues to grow. And so having that preparation, it helps tremendously.
I just have to give you so much respect in the fact that we've all played high levels, and as you continuously keep moving up to the higher levels, you're adjusting to so much, right? Like when you went to juniors, or even I went to prep school, and we all went to prep schools, or living away from home, like that whole situation, like your living situation, billet families, how to transition your game, how to then continuously elevate your game. So, but then also with you, it's so amazing, because I feel like that. What was your mindset of? Were you like, okay, I'm a girl playing this game, and I'm narrow focused on just getting to the highest level that I possibly can? Because you kind of have to have a little bit of tunnel vision, right, on what your goals are to achieve through the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, as I was able to make the higher level teams, playing 15U, then 16U with the guys, I started to think about, well, where can I take this really? If I'm playing with the guys at this level that are going juniors and committed colleges, why can't that be me? And so I had the goal of playing guys hockey up until the highest level that I could. And so that really drove my training to train just extra hard in order to be able to keep up with them strength wise, physically. And so, yeah.
So another thing as well is Cornell, obviously, again, one of the most prestigious colleges academically as well. How do you balance, because at that school as well, the academic expectations are just as high as the athletic. Take us through your day. What does that kind of look like in regards to just that balancing act, because it's so impressive?
Yeah, thank you. It definitely is a balancing act. I would say that honestly, the busier you are, the easier it is. You really have to manage your time. Right now, out of season, I've been slacking off a little. In season, if I had a class at 11:40, they didn't stop till 4:10. And so but then we'd have practice right after that. So I'd have to make sure that I woke up most mornings I'd wake up at 6 or 7 and hit the library, honestly, and study for a couple hours before class because there was never time otherwise than that to do it. And so freshman year, obviously, it's a big adjustment. And so the spring semester, you're in playoffs. It's hard. You're missing so much school. And I don't think I figured it out last year, but I figured it out this year. So it's just a learning curve.
Yeah.
No, it's always amazing for everybody, especially for our listeners to hear. We talked to another player that we had on. He's playing the AHL, like Logan said, but he played at Ohio State. And we always like to just give people a little peek behind the curtain in regards to the facilities, the resources that you have to essentially help you really, lack of a better term, do your job from an athletic standpoint, providing you with everything that you need on a nutritional level, physical rehab level. So talk about the facilities. I mean, the boys are always wondering about what the facilities are at all these amazing D1 schools.
Yeah, I mean, Lina, we might not have the newest facilities, but it's got its historic charm. And we do have a great recovery space. We have hot tub, cold tub, sauna. Girls are in there every day. We have just great resources with Louise, who helps us with our mobility and just strength work outside of the gym. But then obviously we have our strength trainer, Dane, who is just, no matter what you need, he's always going to be there. Any questions on top of the gym that all the teams have, we have our own downstairs, which is great. Any time during the day you want to get a quick lift in or stretch. And obviously Line of the Ice, we're infamous for our boards. They might win and lose us some games, but yeah, our facilities are great. You really couldn't ask for more or have any more. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And I know the equipment manager now at Cornell. This is a funny story. I'll tell the podcast real quick. I get a text from Skylar Cornfus. He's the equipment manager now at Annelies' team, the Cornell Big Red, or the girls team. And I get a text from him randomly, or no, he calls me and I'm sitting at my house. I'm like, why is he calling me on a Saturday? What does he need from me? Because Cornell didn't buy from BDT this year. And like, what's he want from me? And yeah, do you know Annelies? And I'm like, yeah, I played with her when I was younger. And he's, well, she won't use any other tape but yours. And I'm like, well, that's good to hear. And he's, yeah, do you think we can get some tape? And I'm like, don't worry about it. And I sent out some tape. And like I said, remind you, if you need anything, just shoot me over your address and I'll be able to shoot some stuff over. But it was just cool. It was just so cool to see, like, where did you use it for the first time?
Yeah, it's a funny story because it became part of my superstition, your tape. But I used it at Ohio State for the first time because they had some and I loved it for the games. And so I took all the rolls that they had left home with me and hogged them from the rest of the team. And I sparingly used them only for games, not practices. So then I eventually ran out of those. And so I was like, it was playoffs. And I was like, this is the worst time to run out of this. So we had him reach out to you and it worked. So then carried us through the playoffs using that tape. So it was good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, with the boys team too, how was the dynamic with you guys? I know they were just had a big playoff push, really did a great job. Very impressive from them. And so do you guys do you train with them, or is it like completely separate? Do you do anything at all with the guys on the guys team?
We don't train with them. Like, we have our own all separate, but over the summer I'll stay here and train with a couple of the guys, which will be good because just getting ready for the season and just the harder training. We're so supportive of each other. Obviously they had a great run at the end. We're always watching their games after ours on the bus. It's just a great dynamic that we have. We share a training room. And so we're always in there saying good luck and everything. And there's just a great mutual respect between the two teams too. That is special.
That's awesome. Don't forget, Logan, to send Annelies the royalty for all the tape that she's pushing for you right now.
Yeah.
I had with hockey in general, like looking towards the future, what is your focus? I mean, it's an exciting time for women's hockey with the PWHL and the growth of that. So it's amazing for the sport. Hockey's in such a great place. I know it's a loaded question, especially right now because you're a sophomore, but what does your outlook look like with hockey? You're going to be extremely academically set up as well. So what's your near future plans?
Yeah, it was actually funny because this summer I got an internship in Washington for the Defense Counterintelligence and Security Agency, which sounds crazy. I don't think it's as
Holy
cool as it sounds,
shit.
but I would have had to live there. And so I kind of had to decide, well, do I want to take away, I guess, from a hockey a little bit? It's a bit of a distraction. And I ended up not taking that and just staying in Ithaca to pursue hockey because now the focus is we have the PWHL. And so that really is the goal. I would say the national team obviously is what I strive for, and world championships, Olympics, and all of that. But now that we have the opportunity to play professional hockey, it's the goal.
Did you try out for this upcoming Worlds team? Were you there at tryouts?
They didn't have tryouts this year. Last year I was at the like last year I was at the World Camp and it was like the two teams that they picked from, but this year they just picked the team.
Yeah, it's actually funny. My dad with his pro stock hockey company, he's close with Jeff Mobley, the equipment manager at the women's national team. And he had mentioned, my dad had mentioned that you were an athlete on the team. And he was like, well, it was a very hard pick. He's like, I know that one of the things that was across their desk at the whole thing. So I don't know who they ended up taking, but they should have took Annelies.
Yeah. Hopefully one of these years.
No, with women's hockey right now, what's your outlook on it? Like, how do you feel its impact on everything? Because you're in the center of it. You're probably going to be a huge face for it once that decision comes for you. But what's your general overview of the development of women's hockey?
I think it's been great seeing attendance records get broken like in Detroit. It's just going to continue to grow, honestly, from what we've seen with the league. The next step is a college hockey team in Detroit. But I'm really pushing for University of Michigan or State to get a team. But it's just been great. There's been so much support and just growing communities within like hockey in general, because obviously hockey is a smaller sport than some of the other ones too. And so to really grow the PWHL, grow the fan base, everything, I just honestly see it just skyrocketing from here, especially with some of the girls that are coming out of college now, have so much attention on them, like Caroline Harvey or Tessa Janicki. Just those faces really help us.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I tuned into the national championship game between Ohio State, Wisconsin this past year. It was absolutely crazy. I don't know if you guys have Frank or Jay, but Kirstensen was another one of those girls that was always in the forefront of women's hockey from a very young age. And just to see the cool moment of her, like, coach was, who wants it? Who wants it? And she shoots up her hand, goes out there and does what she does and puts a game on ice, and then they end up winning it in overtime. It was just absolutely crazy. And we talk about it on the podcast too a lot, like just everything that's happening in hockey in general. Like it's growing so well, especially this year. You had 4 nations for the NHL guys. You had that for the girls. You had PWHL for the girls as well. You have Ovi breaking the scoring record. Like, there's so many things that are just on the up and up for hockey.
Big Rig retiring.
Oh my God. Big Rig retiring. That's an ongoing joke that we've created. But
and at least Logan doesn't like Big Rig, by the way, so that's fine.
And it's just so cool. Who was like, I know we asked a lot about it a little earlier, but who was someone that you looked up to someone that you're like, okay, I mean, everyone, Hillary Knight, of course, just that person. But I'm just not familiar with any of big goalie names or anyone that you may have looked up to when you were young and building your journey through.
Yeah, I honestly might have a non-answer to that question, but that it was like women's hockey was so small at the time that I was growing up, where I didn't really hear about these like idols that I could follow in women's hockey. And that's partly what's so amazing now, is that these girls now have people to look up to. Now I can say I look up to Erin Frankel and stuff like that. But growing up, it's more so there was no girl that was really doing, what I did, playing with the guys all the way through. And now we see so many in Detroit. And there's a young girl, I wish I remembered her name, that plays at Oakland with the guys. I just hear so much about her and got the chance to talk to her over Christmas. And
wow.
Just creating those connections now. And I didn't have that growing up, but it's great for the girls now.
And I don't want to take away from you, like, you literally trailblazed that fact that girls can do that. And it's so, so crazy to even be like, obviously I know you, but it's just so crazy to be able to talk to you about this and now hear that there's girls doing that at that level. It's just so surreal. And girls hockey is just absolutely growing at such a great rate. I love it.
I'm completely obsessed with the fact of the deciphering factors between players who are good players versus players that are become elite players. What was the toughest thing for you? What did you struggle with the most through the journey? Because there's a certain point where people get to, right? I haven't even mentioned the fact that I used to play goalie, so I didn't even want to mention it because but I think it was a lot of years ago, but it was just like
playing the USHL as a goalie too.
No way.
Don't let them fool you.
many a years ago. Anyways, don't be
so impressed.
But no, so that's, again, we talk about it all the time and we try to cover a lot of different aspects of the game, mentally, physically. So there is that dividing line between elite players and players. It's a decision that you make in your mind, right? And I'd love to hear just, what do you as an elite athlete like struggle? What was the struggle? Like that one thing that you're like, okay, like this is really, and it's a continuous struggle, but because we're always trying to be better, but if maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, and just to honestly reiterate what you're saying, just it's so mental. And as a goalie too, like it's all just in your head kinda. And that's a large portion of something that I had to fight through. And I honestly remember a defining moment playing for Penn's Elite where I got so nervous. It was the first time I had really experienced nerves before a game and ended up having just an awful game and was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And it's pushing through those moments and having, in those moments, it's hard to believe in yourself sometimes. So having people that believe in you and that help you along the way is huge. And so just confidence is something that honestly is just the biggest struggle. Day in and day out, you're not always going to have, there's some rule like number wise, you're not always going to play at the very best of your game every practice. That would be impossible. And so what do you do when you have a bad practice? You got to just honestly put it behind you and get ready for the next one. And the biggest thing for me that I kept telling myself over and over is you don't lose your talent overnight. You still have it. You still are putting in the work every day, doing the reps to get better. And so this year, every Monday, Wednesday, I'd hop on the ice before practice and make sure that I'm ready by getting in those reps. And that just built my confidence throughout the season.
Yeah. And that's something right now, we talked about it just on the pre-interview that I did. It's just like, I'm doing a bunch of different like pitch competitions for my company. And what my business coach and my pitch coach says to me is you got to have a hockey goalie mentality. Like I mess up on a word. If I stumble on something, it's gone. I just have to forget it even happened, just keep going and not dwell on it. And it's a valuable thing that no matter what you do, any elite athlete, any person who plays specifically goalie, you're able to traverse obstacles very easily and really put them past you at a fast rate and move on to the next thing and keep getting better. So it's so cool to hear that. And from a player perspective, recruiting levels and different things like that, if you're getting calls from people and you're getting emails and texts from college scouts, and some people aren't, that's just a big thing that I know also. If you're seeing other people that they commit, we talk about it too. Like when I was in Detroit, you had Rucker McGroarty, Frank Nazar, all of them, like they're committed to college. And I know it may have not been like a big thing for you, but if there's any advice to any girls coming up who are like, you're facing an elite girl who is going against you, how would you say that they traverse that and really put that past them?
Yeah, I would say that honestly, being an underdog is a privilege. Like I love to be the underdog because you have nothing to lose. And so just knowing that by giving it your all, it's literally all that you can do by doing your best and knowing that no matter what, you're going to work as hard as you can and you're going to work harder than that girl. And everyone has their own path. If a girl commits early and you don't, you still don't know where you're going to end up. And just by continuing to work hard and continuing to do what you do and push, you'll end up where you're meant to be.
Yep. We've talked about stuff like that, seeing like the late bloomers or something that, when I was talking about a couple of the guys that I played with that ended up making it to the fucking show, I'm just like, oh, where did he come from? I had a few questions, maybe a little like rapid fire stuff just for get to know you a little bit. But who's your favorite player, a goalie or a skater or whatever? Like NHL, let's go with that.
I know. Fun fact, I don't really watch the NHL a ton. I probably should watch more hockey. I would Vasilevsky is definitely my favorite goalie and probably favorite player. He's just so fun to watch. Just so
Good
athletic
answer.
to be and so big. Yeah.
Not Halak, because you wear the same number.
I chose my number because I'm Marty Braun actually in Buffalo.
Oh, really?
He was my goalie coach. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That was my next question, was why 43, but all right, we got it. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Because you can never tell with goalies.
No, I'm right-handed. It's hurt my shot a lot.
All right. Can you skate? Are you like a good player too?
During the spring, I hop out in player gear all the time. I might look a
Yes.
little goofy, but I can at least.
Do you wear
Yeah.
player skates or goalie skates?
Goalie skates. I don't think it'd be too pretty if I put on the player skates.
That's my favorite thing to see is like a kid who can skate and play and wearing goalie skates out there. Just, what are you majoring in?
Industrial and labor relations.
Okay.
Whoa.
I had no clue when you said you got that intern. I was like, what? What are we doing?
It's a cool major. It's like right now, what I'm learning about is like how to, like, I guess, help workers and learn about like the labor force. It's not really related to the internship, but you can do so much through it, like law school or business school or finance. It just creates a basis of, I guess, how the labor force works in the US. So it's applicable to a lot of areas.
Very cool. Very interesting. And if not hockey, what other sport would it be?
Lacrosse,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. You know what's funny? I never think about that because we didn't have lacrosse when I was a kid. No one played
Really?
lacrosse. I grew up in California, and
Oh, yeah.
no one played lacrosse here. Now my high school has a team. All the local schools do.
Me too.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wish I got into it. Actually, it looks like a lot of fun.
It's super fun, yeah.
My last question in this little rapid fire series is specifically for Logan, but are you okay with roller hockey?
Me?
Yeah.
I cannot play for the life of me.
But
I don't even like it. Like I feel like it's not fun.
I had an argument about it. I was like, not many elite hockey players play roller hockey. I'm like, that is.
No, I don't think it's a thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
I just knocked my light over.
I will rest my case.
I think it's a different sport.
Thank you.
It's a completely different sport.
It is.
Yeah.
It's my lacrosse.
That is unbelievable.
You play?
I have a huge soft spot for roller hockey, but I'm in California. Like there was local rinks, but they were all far. But you could go play roller hockey whenever. We didn't have any ODR stuff during the wintertime.
And it's really big in Michigan too. Annelies knows that. Like it's super big in Michigan. And you, if I'm correct, you're dual citizenship, correct?
Yeah, with Germany.
That's all.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
That's so sick. Where you?
Me and my dad were just over there for spring break actually, so it was fun.
Oh.
Were you born there?
No, it was through their laws, like my grandparents were, and so my dad was a citizen, so then I could be a citizen.
Oh, that's cool.
Since you've played for USA already, would you ever be qualified to play for Team Germany? I know I was in the talks of trying to get the Team Germany goalie. I believe her name's Sandra Arbstreiter.
Arbstreiter, yeah.
I was in talks of trying to get her on board with the team. Would you be allowed to play for the German national team too?
Yeah, like I would be eligible.
Oh, wow.
Like there's a couple, like through the IHF, there might be like a couple. I would think I'd have to play over there for a year or something. There's like eligibility requirements, but I would be allowed to, yeah, if I wanted to switch.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Annelies, I have to ask, were you born in Buffalo?
I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
PA.
Got it.
I was born in Bristol, Pennsylvania. So
really?
outside of Philadelphia. Same with you.
Yeah.
So Buffalo. So you grew up in Buffalo?
Yeah, I lived in Lancaster only for a year, and then I lived in Buffalo for 10 years, moved to Cleveland, but never actually like really lived there, and then have lived in Detroit ever since.
I always ask people what it's like to live in Buffalo because I was born in Toronto. But every time that we fly back to Toronto, we always fly into Buffalo and then drive across the border so we can see Niagara Falls. But I'm always like, pass by Buffalo. I'm like,
did you
Phil's Mafia
to live in Buffalo?
Yeah.
And wings.
Yeah, that's all Buffalo is basically.
Did you do were you online school for most?
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been a crazy switch to
7th grade and 8th grade I was online.
And then what'd you do for high school?
I went to Bloomfield Hills for a year because that's where we lived in our like little apartment. And then I ended up I graduated high school a year early, so I only did 2 years at Troy.
Of course she did.
What can't she do?
I was going to say,
what can't she do? That's probably actually really good at roller hockey.
That's a very hard transition because I know just the 1 year I did of online school was like going to a prep school after that where the education was actually very tight. And now you're at an Ivy League school. That must have been crazy just to switch from even a public school to the Ivy League academics. I mean, I could assume that you were probably always a smart girl going through all of that, but that's wild, especially with everything that you're bouncing around, going to different schools. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, my high school definitely prepared me like to come to a school like this, but it's still a shock when you get here. But I had to take in order to graduate, I had to take a couple online classes over the summer, and I don't think I could ever take another online class. So I was finished in the last 2 days that I could, just on my couch for 24 hours. But yeah.
On the game, right? Like you've moved through every level at the highest level. What would one change or a couple changes? You can list a couple changes through the whole system that we have in right now. And of course, we know it's an ever-changing system with the CHL ruling, NIL. It's such an interesting space that we're living in right now. What is if I could change one thing from the point that you're younger playing to obviously somebody like you that's playing in college, what are some changes that you'd like to see?
Yeah, I would say I never played girls youth hockey growing up, but I would love to see hitting at the way that guys do and what age it starts. It teaches them how to hit, and that if you start it young, you can see it grow into the upper levels, which makes hockey fun to watch, and it would bring a lot of viewership towards women's hockey. So that's a main one, and not to put all the focus on like changing things within the women's sports, but like with the junior leagues, creating that for the women's side and maybe creating an NTDP like team for the women to just have 2 years of great like developmental skills for this group age of players where they go around and play college teams. And that might generate more junior teams and stuff like that. So honestly, just maybe creating the women's side more similar to how the men's side is built, just to grow it a little more.
Those are some great takes on that. And I definitely do think that it would pull in viewership, like you said, for the excitement of it. But I mean, it's interesting. I'm very conflicted on the junior hockey thing. I would like to see if it was, because I know that some girls go back and before like they graduate high school and they go and play like another year of 18U before they go into college and play. So it's very interesting. And it would be a cool dynamic if you were to add like a WUSHL, like a women's USHL would be so sick, and adding an NTDP team into there would be cool. And it's just growing, like you said. So as it keeps growing more, it's going to be cool to see more youth teams pop up and keep adding into their, like the youth teams that are withstanding now that all the boys have played against. I'm excited to see when they start to get more girls playing for those teams. And they're like, okay, we need to implement a girls team. And it's awesome. It's so cool. And it's just awesome to hear your perspective on all of that, especially being at the highest level. And so I know we're about to wrap it up here soon, but like I know this is big picture too, but like do you have to apply for the PWHL draft? Do you have to declare that you're going to be, okay, I'm done? But I assume you're going to graduate.
Yeah. I'll get my degree first. And a couple of the girls on the team right now are declaring for the draft. I'm not sure about the whole process yet, but you do have to declare to say you want to get drafted. And there's a little questionnaire that you have to fill out. Not little. I've seen it. It's quite long. But yeah, and from there, I'm not sure what that process is like. But the draft is in Ottawa this year, if I'm not wrong, in June. So,
and the teams are just going to be popping up even more. I've just been hearing rumblings across the field of Philadelphia coming in, Detroit coming in.
Yeah,
it's going to be super, super awesome to see where your career ends up. And it's going to be awesome to be able to look back at this podcast. And I know we'll say that we'd love to have you on just for updates, catch ups of what's going on in the life of an elite athlete at the women's level. And it's so cool. Thank you again for shooting the shit with all of us and our boring questions, our fun questions, whatever. It's seriously, it means a lot to us.
No, I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
I just had one more question. We talk about all the time, social media and social media.
You're cut.
Okay. Bye. Social media and players, like Jay and I grew up in an age, I mean, dating ourselves, but pre-social media. But what is it? We talked about players that it's a good thing at some points, but it's detrimental to everything, right? Just go back to our topic of getting in your own head a lot. I don't know. Wanted to get your thoughts on it, because are you hey, I'm going to check out what's going on social media, the team we're playing, who's who, what's what? Or are you more, you know what, I don't even want to know. I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more detrimental than it is helpful. I don't really see any positive aspects from it. If anything, it does get you in your own head to see, even comparing your own team's social media to another. It's just another thing where you don't have to worry about it. Like it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's who's going to be the other team on the ice. And social media becomes a distraction a little bit, and all of the, oh, this girl got this sponsorship or this girl got that. It leads to more comparisons too, that just at the end of the day, just be a good hockey player, be a good person, and your presence online just doesn't really mean anything.
What's the school's perspective on that? Do they talk about that in the locker room in regards to you being a full unit? What's their philosophy on it?
Yeah, Cornell is, I don't want to say behind the times with that. It's just at an Ivy League institution, you're not going to have this huge emphasis on NAHL. There are opportunities out there for us to work with the school to see different NAHL opportunities. I know a couple girls on the softball team partner with CVS and stuff like that. So the school does help out some. I definitely don't think it's like a OSU or Wisconsin where you're really getting these huge brand deals.
Interesting. Seems like that checks out, that maybe academics and athletic programs are number one, and social media can trickle down the list a little bit.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I hope all these fucking kids are listening.
Yeah.
Because what you said was awesome. I'd love to hear that.
I agree.
So one more quick tidbit for all the girls and guys, players that are coming up, trying to make it to a level that you're playing at. What's your biggest advice to them along this whole journey?
Work when nobody's watching. The biggest growth happens when you're not doing it because somebody's watching you work. Go shoot pucks in the driveway or go do hand-eye. In my basement, I'd just be throwing a ball against the wall, working my glove hand because it wasn't the best when I was little. Just stuff like that. Do it for yourself and for nobody else, because at the end of the day, you'll reach a higher level because you want it and you're going to work for it. And no matter what obstacles are going to get in your way, like you're just going to just say F it and go for it. And so just having that mentality through it helps.
So well spoken.
That's such good advice. Yeah, such good advice. I mean, for me, the only thing I could say is so happy for you to have you on. I mean, such an honor. I didn't even want to mention the fact that I played goalie because I was like, oh, Jesus, she's just doing it. But no, seriously, I am in such awe of somebody, more of you being able to balance such a heavy curriculum and balancing elite athletics with education. It's small population of people that can do it, but you're doing it at the highest level. And thank you so much for taking the time and joining us.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, so happy to have you in the family. So happy to have you on the podcast. It's amazing. Frank, wrap it up.
Thank you.
J-Dog, anything?
Awesome to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. And I just wish you the most success. Stop those pucks. No, I can't wait to see what's next for you. Honestly, so stoked. Yeah, it was really great to meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for the clear tape too. Thank you much.
Logan, don't forget to give permissions.
Yep.
But on that note, yeah, again, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for joining us again, Annelies. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.
Bye. Thank you again for Annelies joining the show. As you guys know, what an interview. What a career thus far. And more importantly, we can't wait to see what comes next. She's a different human. She really is. I'm not going to lie. I shied away from telling her a little bit about the fact that I played goalie because I am not even half, a quarter of what an amazing athlete she was. But again, I can't thank her enough for coming on. Truly amazing career thus far. Congratulations on all the accolades she's received so far, but there's much more to come, my friend.
Yeah. What can I say? BDT knows how to pick their people. It's an absolute honor to be able to have her, as I mentioned in the podcast, just be able to have her in the family and represent our brand at such a high level, such a high standard. It's very cool, very surreal for myself. But past that, she's amazing at what she does. You saw how much work and everything she's put into to lead up to this point. It doesn't just come from being talented. It's so much hard work every single day. And yeah, we hope that you guys got something out of it and really did enjoy the episode.
The hockey community, we say it and make it a point to say it all the time. It is an amazing, unique group. And we're not just being biased because we are hockey players, but hockey players have a special trait in them that just builds such a strong community. And I feel like this was another amazing interview to show that. And we're so proud of her coming on and telling her story. So Logan, take us home.
Boys, we're rounding the bases. I'm at third, heading to home plate right now. Just want to say thank you guys again. This wouldn't be possible without you guys, first and foremost, and our amazing sponsors. Best Damn Tape, Buddy Hockey Club, Cut Shield Hockey, and Bambino Shave Cream. We're absolutely ecstatic to keep bringing you more and more content, more and more episodes. That's a wrap. That's putting a ribbon on it. I appreciate you guys. Me and Frank love you. And yeah, that's it, guys.
Love you guys. See you on the next one.